Hello and welcome to another exciting edition of Pt.A Show. My name is Pt.A and I am your host. Tonight we have an August visitor. We have with us today the Secretary to the State Government, Ogun State, Barrister Taiwo Adeoluwa. Barrister Taiwo Adeoluwa is here in Ireland for the International Bar Association Conference, and we are privileged to have with us Barrister Taiwo Adeoluwa. Barrister Taiwo Adeoluwa, you're welcome to Pt.A Show and welcome to Ireland.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Is it the first time that you're coming to Ireland?
It is the second time I've come to Ireland.
Not the second time?
I was in Ireland some times ago.
So you're probably used to the weather now?
Oh, I mean, I'm a regular in the UK, so the weather is pretty much the same thing. So weather, I have no problem with that. You consider I'm kitted for it.
Yeah, because we've been dealing with, there are about 2,000 Nigerians in Ireland at the moment that came for this very event, and we've been dealing with the issue of cold and weather, rain, you know, so I am happy that at least you are a bit used to the weather. Okay. Could you tell us briefly, who is the man Barrister Taiwo Adeoluwa?
Well, my name is Taiwo Adeoluwa. I am a lawyer by training. I qualified as a lawyer about 27 years ago in Nigeria. I was privileged to have had a distinguished educational career. I was in University of Ife, where I was a member of the Dean's Brigade of Faculty of Law. I was an awardee of the University Scholarship throughout my stay in Ife. I was also an awardee of the Federal Government Undergraduate Scholarship Award. At Nigeria Law School, again, fortune smiled on me, because what people call hard work, I think, is more of God at work. I was adjudged the best student of the year nationally in Nigeria Law School in 1986, and I was also awarded the best overall academic performance in the Barr finals of 1986. I've had a practice that is very commercial based, and the Almighty God has been very kind to me. I ran a firm called Taiwo Abiodun Associates in Lagos, Nigeria, and that was what I did until I was invited by His Excellency, the Governor of Ogun State, to join his government at inception last year.
I just want to look at your person now, because we in diaspora, we've come to the conclusion that Nigerian politics should be about individuals and not really political parties, even when we know that there are political parties. Because going with the performances of Fashola, Governor Shomole and others, we have seen that when you have a credible leader, the whole machinery changes. So, as the Secretary to the State Government, I would want to know briefly about your political career.
There, you should be ready for a surprise, because I have had no political career. I came entirely from the private sector, and you mentioned Fashola. Fashola came entirely from the private sector. And what is happening in Nigeria today is that, as bad as it appears to be, God is smiling on Nigeria, because you can see more and more people who had no political background coming onto the show. And if you're going to use Fashola as the benchmark, I think with all due respect, without taking anything bad from politicians, they appear to be doing better. I have a political background beyond what we did at school. In Ife in those days, I was a member of the Judicial Council. That's the students' union government court, as it is. Like I said, since I left university, left law school in 1986, I have been entirely in my private law practice until last year. So if you talk about my experience, I have not been an active participant, just like all of us have been political animal, I have participated from the sidelines. Of course, I have been a disciple of a sort to my leader, my governor, my agent of change, Senator Pt.A. I have been his friend and lawyer for a long time, and that is the extent of participation. I have been on the sideline. I am coming to the arena for the first time.
When you were at a dinner that was held in honor of your humble self and the other contingents from Ogun State, I heard you mention agent of change, and you've referred to the governor again as an agent of change. What do you mean when you say agent of change?
You see, many of us in Ogun Cabinet today, and I speak to a good number of people who are Governor Amosu's aides. On a good day, we have no business in politics. On a good day, we should not be counted among people who will be in public office. One of the reasons why today we are called to serve by the governor and we are accepted was because, having known the governor for a pretty long time, we are not in doubt about his desire to make a difference in the life of the stakeholders. I am not in doubt about the genuineness of his passion, about that sincerity of purpose and that discipline. And if you know what has happened in Ogun State before we came, we have charged his aspiration. We call it mission to rebuild, because it's a change thing from decadence, from that indisciplined, from that corrupt tendencies to a new dawn. We are trusting God for help to give our people in Ogun State a fresh start, a fresh air, and in a sense, it is a change. And who is that leader, the team captain, that chief agent? It is Senator Ibikule Amosu. Hey, wait a minute, he's a veteran politician, he's seen it all, and he knows the difference between good governance and bad governance. And in his wisdom, with the help of God, I think, he has called people like me to come and help him with his administration. So, I'm not in doubt when I refer him to as agent of change. I mean every word of it, because I know that he is sincere about what he's doing in Ogun State today.
So Ogun State, since the inception of the government, is undergoing a state of change.
You see, like I said yesterday, to understand what is happening in Ogun State, you need to know what Senator Ibikule Amosu's government met on May 29, 2011. You see, it is when you situate these circumstances that you understand really that Ogun State today is undergoing change.
Okay. Now, let me, because I do know a little about Ogun State. Okay. I don't know much about Ogun State. The one reason why I was interested in coming here today was just because at a point in time I was hearing a lot about Ogun State, like voodoo, people being used for rituals, and governors or government being involved. I don't know if they were true. Well, it was like Ogun State was in a terrible state that, you know, needed just a complete clean, a complete overhaul, you know, because the Ogun State we used to hear about wasn't the Ogun State that we were hearing at the point. And when I hear now that there's somebody there who is being referred to as agent of change, I'm like, I need to come here and find out what actually is going on in Ogun State.
You are not far from the truth. Let us start from May 29, 2011. We met a state that was adjudged by the National Assembly of Nigeria as failed. The National Assembly of Nigeria categorized Ogun State as a failed state. That was a state where the legislature, the state assembly, was shut down for the better part of the second term of the last administration. That was a state that was rated as the worst to do business in Nigeria. At the time we came on board on May 29, 2011, we met a state where everything appears to have collapsed. the teachers were on strike, the local government workers were on strike. Out of the 10 tertiary institutions in Ogun State, 8 were completely shut down. Security was something else. We met a state where the entire banking and financial sector was in coma. Indeed, in the entire Ogun sector, Ogun East, Ogun is divided to 3, the 12 districts. In the entire Ogun East Central District, that is Ijebu, that axis, the banks had closed down for business because of security. See, the same thing in Ado, Ogun West axis. Court walls were everywhere, it was prevalent, and that was also coupled with interethnic and intertribal wars around Adorota and Agbara. So we met a state that everything appears to have gone wrong. And since we came on board, we have been trying our best. Again, because we are lucky that the governor is a passionate and sincere leader, we have been trying our best to move that state from that precipice, so to say, to some glitter of hope. I mean, just like we said, Ogun State that we grew up to know was a state of first. Name anything, the first Nigerian in medicine, in law, in engineering, in about everything came from Ogun State. Indeed, the first woman to drive a car in Nigeria came from Ogun State. Ogun State, indeed, Western Nigeria in those days was known for all of those good things. So what happened? In the last, before May 29, 2011, the last 2 years, if you mention Ogun State, it was just like we said, a state where all they did was to take oaths, where court and courts were the supreme oath everywhere. It was that bad. But Mr. Governor, that is Senator Gilamosu, came with his mission to rebuild. Education, health, agricultural, housing and urban renewal, employment. These are the things we have been trying to do, and I'm happy to report to you that 15 months down the line, people have seen the difference. In fact, they are beginning to see the real change that we preach.
Let's go straight to Senator Ibukule Amosu and his vision for Ogun State. And I'm going to start from, you just made mention of 5 cardinal points. Yeah. Let's start from education. What difference is he making?
A huge difference. Ogun State was the state where WAEC, they seized the results marks of the entire student in Ogun State because the government of that day failed to pay WAEC fees. Ogun State, we had and we still have 10 tertiary institutions, that is higher institutions, and before we came, these institutions were old. They were old running costs. They were also subventions for between 9 and 17 months. What have we done today? Today in Ogun State, education is completely free in the primary and tertiary, in the primary and secondary tiers, and it is heavily subsidized at tertiary grade. Today in Ogun State, we have free textbooks, we have free exercise books, we have free instructional materials, we have free school bags, and very soon we are trusting God with free school meals. Today, in Ogun State, the running costs for all public schools are paid as and when due. Today in Ogun State, teachers are paid as and when due. Nobody, and I say nobody, is owed salaries. Oh yes, we had some arrears owed by that administration, and we are trying our best to clear them. But we have not owed on our current obligations to any teacher. Promotions are made as and when due. This is a part of what we are doing to enhance the human capital development so that our teachers are happy. And wait a minute, as I speak to you, the government of Ogun State is constructing 26 brand new schools across the 20 local governments of the state. We have stabilized the system Ogun State University is back on its feet. Next week, Tuesday, October 9th precisely, the school will be graduating 42,500 students at a go. They have had backlogs between 2005 and 2011. Students just passed the school, they didn't have certificates because the scripts were not marked. We have managed in this short span that we came on board to clear the backlogs so that next week Tuesday we are sorting out all of those. We have stabilized the system and we are doing our very best, our level best, to ensure that even the arrears that we met on grant are paid. We are doing so much in the education sector because Mr. Governor believes that if you get education right, you will get everything right.
The free education policies is very commendable. But one question I would like to ask as far as education is, it is free, but how qualitative is it?
We call it free, affordable, and qualitative education. You see, there's no magic about governance. I have said that before. It is the sincerity of purpose that you bring to it. It is discipline that you bring to it. And that's the difference between a Senator Bikulia Musu and another person. Like I said, some of us are not desperate to be in public office. The reason why we are there today is because one, the Almighty God wanted it, and then the governor wanted it. But more importantly, we are there, I am there, because I know the governor is sincere. See, I challenged our people yesterday. Put a call through to our people at home, and they will tell you what we are doing today in Ogun State.
Good. Now, let's look at the economy from the point of view of employment and the youths, the young ones, which are, most of the time when, because of their gullibility and vulnerability, they are the people that are mostly used by unscrupulous elements to achieve their selfish aim. What is the strategy for the economy to be able to bring back that glory that used to be in Ogun State?
One of the campaign promises of Senator Bikulia Musu when he was on the field campaigning was that he will generate direct employment of 10,000 youths within the first 100 days of his being sworn in. I'm happy to report to you again that with the help of God, we have added more than 15,000 direct employment since we came on board. How did we achieve that? First of all, we had direct employment of over 6,000 in 2 batches. Then we had medical employment because we discovered that our hospitals are poorly equipped, they are poorly manned, and we don't have personnel. We have employment in environment because for the first time in Ogun State, our streets are swept day and night. We have people who are employed also by the office of the First Lady because they are also doing other things. As I speak to you, we have added over 15,000 employment since we came. As for the issue of youths, for the first time again, Mr. Governor has created a desk to take care of the youths. We have a senior special assistant on youths. And what we do is this, we engage them to see how best they can be engaged and used so that they don't fall into, they don't become idle and then get into all of those things that you just mentioned. As I speak to you, we have a number of programs that are ongoing concurrently. For example, we had a youth convention where they sat down with the governor to interact with him to see what can be done to improve their lot. We are doing agric, and agric has a capacity. Indeed, as I speak to you, we are doing some model farms, and we have our youths that have been trained. When we talk about agric, I will give you more of that. I can tell you pointedly, and like I said yesterday, I challenge our people, our stakeholders, to put a call back home. We are doing so much. Our commerce industry, in collaboration with Bank of Industry, we have provided 1 billion naira to assist those of our youth that are willing to go into self-employment. As I speak to you, over 2,000 have benefited from that also. So these are all the things that we are doing. Of course, youths are our tomorrow. I mean, they own tomorrow. When we leave the state, they will come there. Unless the quality of the youths we produce are worth the while, then our tomorrow will be jeopardized.
Yes, because using the youth for the unthinkable things that we hear of in Nigeria is not actually the way to go. But
but I can tell you affirmatively that the 2011 general election marked a watershed of a sort. Because you see, what broke down in Nigeria basically, and in my Ogun State, was public trust. And you need to build that trust back. They must know, they must have this fair assurance that government means well, that government is genuine. And that is the difference between a Senator Amosu and any other person, any other governor. Because looking at the man, the way he speaks, the passion of the society, and he lives it. He talks, he walks, you can see that he's just not doing grammar. So I believe that we're making quite some progress. Yeah.
When you say that Ogun State was in a state of decadence before you came in, could you kind of mention some of what the agent of change is doing to kind of create that enabling environment?
Even the road that passes by government of Okigbe was impassable. The bridge at Atamala Shore had collapsed. And the government of that day, in their wisdom, just abandoned it. Today, if you go to Ogun State, again, if you were in Ogun State about a year ago and you go back there again, the difference and the change that we preach is unmistakable. Today, and please, I stand to be corrected, the moment you turn into Abeokuta from Shagamu, you will not find a single pothole. As I speak to you, you will not find a single pothole in any part of Abeokuta metropolis. Because we are not doing, and it's not just Abeokuta. If you go to Songwater, if you go to Ilaro, if you go to Jebode, if you go to Shagamu, we are doing quite a lot of work. The roads were completely gone. They were not maintained. But what are we doing today? We are trying our best to maintain the roads we met on ground, and then we are doing some new roads. As I speak to you, within the first 1 year of our administration, we constructed the Ibara Totoro Itaiko Shokoi Road. It is the first time in Ogun State that we will do a 6-lane road. As I speak to you, our overhead bridge in Ibara is nearing completion commissioning. We hope to commission it in about 3 months or even less. It is the first time in Ogun State. As I speak to you, the first overhead pedestrian bridge in Ogun State is ready for commissioning. It is the first time in Ogun State. A couple of weeks back, the Ogun State Executive Council approved over 21 roads across the length and breadth of Ogun State. We are doing extensive, and we're not just doing any road. Each of them is between 4 and 6 lanes. Most are 6 lanes, but where we think to do 6 lanes will endanger more properties and all of those, we have reduced to 4. But majority of them are 6 laners, complete with street lights, complete with walkways and all of those. So, and we have completed one for you to see what the standard will be. We have called it Ogun Standard. Anything we do in Ogun State, we want it to be to measure up to a particular standard, so that people can say, okay, have you seen what they did in Ogun State? Talking about urban renewal, sometimes ago, about 3 months ago, for the first time again in the history of Ogun State, in fact in the history of Nigeria, in one day, in one program, Mr. Governor distributed 500 transformers to the nooks and crannies of Ogun State. We are doing many more, and the idea is to make life to be better for our people. We are desperate to leave the state better than we met it. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, that's very commendable, because there's this saying that the people in government should be the servant of the people in order to be able to serve and achieve their really objective of, making the difference in the community. But most of the time, that's not what we see in Nigeria. But I'm happy because some states in Nigeria are beginning to take on those slogans, realizing that for you to make a difference, you have to be the servant of the people. You have to serve the people, and you have to listen to the people. You have to look for the happiness of the people. And if that's why the the governor is called the agent of change, we must applaud his effort. Now, we've looked at infrastructure, now let's look at security. I know that you did mention something about it yesterday, that Ogun State was in a state at the point you came in. And one could imagine that, because I read online and listen to Nigerian news about people being sane for ritual purposes, this happening, people no longer safe, not even armed robbery now, people being attacked just for political reasons. This wasn't what we used to know about Ogun State. So when you now say that the agent of change is actually making the difference and is being the change that he wants to see in Ogun State, what do you mean?
Yeah, basically, police is a federal matter. On a good day, it is the responsibility of the federal government to kit and equip the police. But like I said, we are not, Mr. Adeoluwa will tell us, hey, wait a minute, the people who will be impacted directly are Ogun State stakeholders. So it is not enough for him as governor to say Freeman has not done this. I told you earlier that when we came, the banking and financial industry in the entire state had been paralyzed. So much so that in the entire Ogun East Central District, the banks are closed for business. They are closed shop because of security concerns. I'm happy to tell you that today, they are not only reopened, they have even opened more branches, new businesses are springing up. What have we done? As at today, we have committed over 5 billion naira to assisting the Nigerian police. Again, I didn't even know that until the Inspector General of Police came to Abeokuta to say that it was the first time in the history of Nigeria that the state government, in one single ceremony, will donate 13 brand new 2012 state-of-the-art armored personnel carriers to the police. That was what Mr. Abiodun and the government gave to Nigeria Police Command.